George Strickland for the Martial Art World, and we're here at Ron Duncan's Martial Arts Academy. And standing next to me now, it's a pleasure to be talking to this gentleman, is Professor Ronald Duncan. Professor Duncan, what is ninjitsu?
Well, that's a question that everybody has been asking for the last 10 or 15 years. And without sounding too redundant, ninjitsu really is, to make a long story short, we can call it the art of endurance. The art of endurance, the art of totality, the art of courage, the art of everything. There's so many different interpretations for it. But the more commonly known interpretation of ninjitsu, that is the art of espionage and art of invisibility, assassination, and so forth. But to sort of cap it off, let's call it the art of endurance, to endure, because those people who evolved as ninjas in ancient time, during the field of Japan, were people who were forced out of political necessity to endure. And by learning how to endure, utilizing various aspects of philosophies and combat, they were able to endure and to be victorious and to survive.
What style do you teach?
The style that I teach is a style which originated from the many styles of combat of the Koga provinces of Japan. It's a collection of different systems and approaches of combat. Koga Ryu, you got to realize that we have what's known as the Iga system, which has become very popular, and the Iga system is broken down into various different trends of thoughts from various styles of ancient Japan. The Koga Ryu system will involve techniques as the Masaki Ryu, the Ginda Ryu, Nippon's the Sushi Ryu, the Naha Ryu, the Fohi Ryu, to name a few. These are different art forms which one has to master and study to take up that slack, to make up the totality which is called ninjitsu. It's broken down into philosophy, as spiritual training, psychological training, physical combat, stealthy maneuvering, intelligence gathering, a whole number of things.
It becomes apparent watching your class and your students work out that they have to be agile and able to move and fight from any position.
That is true. The training is very varied here, not only at my academy, but people I've been associated with over the years, over the last 30 years, who have studied and trained similarly to the way that I do, that we do here. Yeah, because one of the philosophical beliefs that we practice here is that a ninja has to be able to attack and defend from any position, to hear any sound, to sense danger, a number of things. So we go just beyond the ordinary. We will try to seek out those areas which we do not ordinarily deal with, and to develop those areas to strong point and to use them whenever we have to.
I noticed you were talking about the 9 lives of the warrior. Could you tell us about that?
The 9 lives of the warrior are philosophical, not only philosophical science, but these are concepts and philosophies which will affect modern day man, will affect man for all years to come into the future. Simply means that as not only the warrior, but a man is forced, whether he knows it or not, to live 9 different existences. Because in our day-to-day living, we come in contact with our loved ones, we come in contact with people who pay us wages, we come in contact with the elders, we come in contact with ourselves. One of the most important aspects of these philosophical 9 lives is that we come into touch with our true selves. You see, that part of us that nobody sees or understands will ever see. And we learn to deal with ourselves from within and to develop from there. So it's broken down into 9 levels. The purpose is of giving support to someone that was wounded, or given the appearance of being wounded for disguised purposes, for off-balancing and deceiving the opponent, or a technique of defensive combat. Okay, go. Ready?
Good.
The opponent could be armed with a knife, for instance, or a sword, whatever the case might be. And this, and all of its innocuous looking appearances, could be used effectively. Come, here. It could be used here to block and striking and taking down the opponent, for instance. And then it could be used in this manner. As he fell, here, it became a flailing device to strike. Now this same technique, do I turn around please? Utilized from the rear, became a strangling device. Here, a dual strangling device. or merely devise, watch it, put the knife down. The striking and wrapping around the man's face, or to wrap it around his legs to trip. Used for the purpose of tying your opponent securely. In this position, tie. The pin his arms, tie. Try to pull away. Securely in place. Okay? Yes.
The way of the wind, tell me, describe a little bit of that.
The way of the wind was a concept that was introduced to me years ago. In Japanese philosophy, especially where the Japanese are concerned, they feel that the wind is the strongest element. And most of the Japanese combative elements is based upon the wind being the strongest factor in transmitting energy and transmitting, destruction and transmitting, healing processes and all those things that has to be projected and transformed and handed down from generation to generations and so forth. The way of the wind, the wind has no definition. Nobody can define the wind. Nobody can actually see the wind. We can only, it is so scientifically complex, at the same time so simple. So the wind has deep significances and connotations where Japanese combative warrior art forms are concerned. A lot of people don't say it, but that's one of the basic concepts. The wind is the strongest element. And the Japanese, during the feudal time, and when speaking in terms of their combat and warlike activities, this is their element. It's not only Japanese, every culture has known this.
Thank you very much, Master Duncan, for having us here today.